Dear friends, welcome you all. Today we have a special subject to ponder on. We are planning to ponder on the title Detached Attachment. We have a lot of attachments in our present life, but there should be a balance of our attachment and going beyond the attachment. It is called as detachment. Attachment is the source, the origin of all sufferings. Therefore, it is the cause of all sufferings. It is a common term explained by all the religions and the sages of past history. For example, attachment is a tie. If a bird or an animal is tied with a small thread or with a large rope, it cannot fly, it cannot move, it cannot be free. The same manner, it does not matter how significant the attachment is, any attachment will hinder our growth to attain the fullness of our life. Attachment is the emotional dependence. It is the dependence either on one person or another person or on some real or illusory object. The first condition for progress is the inner freedom. It is the mastery over one's own attachments. Our attachment to our desired object is the cause of all our sufferings. When we cannot get our desired object, we become anxious, start to grieve, grumble, complain, envy, and get frustrated because of our attachment to that object. To be attached to something means that we believe that we cannot do without it. Somehow we see that our life is limited without this particular possession. We are not able to realize the impermanence of all physical things. By being attached, we are unable to be free. Here we have to see that emotional responses generated by our ego are not the same as heart-centered desires from our inner self. Desires that come from ego causing us to grieve, I want, usually lead to attachment, which causes suffering. Such desires are moved by fear and anxiety. On the other hand, our inner level desire from the center of our heart is for growth, unity, and love. When we are emotionally attached to an object, a goal, a dream, or to another person, we can feel that if I don't have that, I won't be complete. This creates a feeling of worthlessness, including anxiety, fear, anger, jealousy, hopelessness, sadness, and disconnection, and pride and vanity, etc. All All the natural things are bound by the law of attraction. We human beings are also bound by the same law of attraction for our survival and security. The law of attraction is the principal element of our growth and relationship. In this process of attraction, both attachment and detachment are included in an integral manner. Here, the attraction is not only emotional, all the more it is rational, mental, and growth oriented. What is that detached attachment? Often we are attached to ourselves, our ability to be happy, or on a desired outcome. We find ourselves disappointed when that outcome does not happen. We have to learn how we can let go and start living from a place of happiness. Detachment reveals the great paradox of life. In order to acquire something new, we have to relinquish our attachment to having it. When we recognize that the only genuine source of security is living as our true self is, then we are more easily detached from one thing and pass on to another thing to continue in the process of our life. Thiruvalluvar, a Tamil sage, writes, "To remove all attachments, be attached to the supreme reality that has no attachments." To remove all attachments, be attached to the supreme reality that has no attachments. It means, first of all, we have to be attached with a superior reality before we lose our ties with the things that we are attached. First of all, we have to be attached with a superior reality before we lose our ties with the things that we are attached. All the worldly attachments are transitory, and the only everlasting attachment is gaining the fullness of our life in the supreme reality. Stage by stage, we have to experience attachment and detachment in this life. Being attached, we have to do the duties of daily life, and it will lead us to be detached, to enter into the future of our development and becoming. Bhagavad Gita teaches that acting with detachment means doing the right things for its own sake. Acting with detachment means doing the right thing for its own sake, because it needs to be done without worrying about success or failure. Detachment takes time to practice. We have to work on it day by day to implant it in our life. If you are able to practice for some time, we may learn to handle our attachment with detached attitudes. We have to understand our true self. How do you identify ourselves? Often our idea of ourself is identified with our body or with our job or with some designations we are willing to attain. In our relationship with others, we identify that I am someone's husband, wife, father, mother, sister, brother, friend, etc. As long as we continue to identify our relationship, identify ourselves with the relationship or circumstances or job designations, we will continue to bear the consequences of their ever-changing behavior. We will continue to bear the consequences of their ever-changing behavior. The moment we understand that we are spiritual beings and set on our individual journey, our way of perceiving things will change for better. The eternal inner self is not bound by the body, not bound by our relationship or circumstances. For example, a person who is attached to his wife or her husband or children emotionally will suffer much when their attitudes and characters are changed. Here we have to understand the true nature of things. For example, if our domestic animal dies, we cry and lament because we are emotionally attached to it. And we feel that we have lost one which we had possessed for our own. But we never bother or suffer when a flower is falling down from the plant or when a fruit is falling down from the tree. The same manner, we may not feel much when we read in the newspaper that someone is died because of an accident. We take this as natural event that is happening every day in all circumstances. Here we are not much attached to it emotionally, and we are able to handle it in a normal way. Likewise, in our life, if we are able to accept the very nature of things and people as transitory or temporary, there will be no grief. We have to understand the fact that all that we see or possess is meant to be transitory. When we accept the true nature of things, not only we enjoy the limited time that we have with it, but also gracefully accept its departure. Here we have to change our perspective on realities. We have to shift our perspective from I am temporary to the supreme reality, eternal. Most of us think that I am in control of myself. But when some suffering comes, we are out of control and go to the extreme of our emotional reaction. If we accept that the supreme reality or God is in control of my life, even in a situation of an extreme loss, we may be able to accept it with an integral attitude that everything was given to me by the nature and the nature has taken them back. Everything was given to me by the nature and the nature has taken them back. Everything is working out for a better cause, for a progress, for the growth. For we definitely possess more than a lot of things or people in this world with the spirit of detached attachment. Let us greet them all and see that our life change for the better. Practicing detachment in no way implies renouncing family life or being emotionally unavailable or a less compassionate person. Here we are really supposed to give up not our families or our capacity for enjoyment, but our tendency to identify with passing realities, our bodies and personalities, instead of with pure eternal awareness. Detached attachment is when we let go of control and allow our relationships and possession to come and pass. We are not the same or we are not the owner, but we are only caretakers. Let us appreciate while it belongs to us, and when the time comes, let go as if it was never meant for us. On this aspect of detachment, we talk in theory so many things and give advice to others in many ways. But when some suffering comes to our own family members, acceptance comes very late. We have to just live undisturbed in every way. We have to make a new outline to our life. In all our relationships and interactions, let us give our best. Let us work hard to mature and cherish others. Our attachment with them is true. However, we remain detached in the sense that we do not expect them to reciprocate our affection. In that sense, we do not expect them to reciprocate our affection or love. Most importantly, we make a conscious effort not to interfere or pass judgments on others or the lives they have chosen to live. With this attitude of detachment, our concern for our near and dear ones will not fade. In our mind, if we let go of the ones we love, they will never go away. If we let go of the ones we love, they never go away. This is the beauty of attachment with detachment. We have to learn to love and let go. When we leave the people live the way they want to, we learn to accept them for what they are. When we leave the people live the way they want to, we learn to accept them for what they are. Most importantly, we learn to tolerate the world around us, and this tolerance brings in us a sense of peace and contentment. Let us plead the Supreme Reality to guide us, that we may be loving, compassionate, and understanding when we interact with others. We have to deal with the emotional vacuum that arises along with age-related problems like living single and alone in their houses. Many persons live alone with a lot of emotional attachments are not able to solve them. They should cultivate this attitude of detached attachment. True detachment is not a separation from life, but the absolute freedom within our mind to explore our living. Many people are attached to relationships, money, social status, jobs, and more. Basically, anything we can use to describe who we are can be a sign of attachment. I may say, I am a mother, wife, daughter, and sister who is physically healthy, socially vibrant. I am a teacher, I am a writer, I am a speaker, I am a student, etc. However, if my brother dies, I am still I am. If I lose my job, I am still I am. If I get sick, I am still I am. If I change what I do and stop writing or stop dancing or stop teaching, I am still I am. We have to recognize that I am remains without all the connections to reach the goal. Here we have to recognize that I am remains without all the connection to reach the goal of life. But in between we have lot of relationships and attitudes that we have to accept and go beyond them so that we may have the real flow of growth in life. Most of us are afraid of death. It is the end point of our life on this earth. Death is the only reality that we are sure to conquer. We have to love our departure, and we have to prepare for it in our inner self. In it, we realize that attachment to worldly things will come to an end. The spirit of detachment will encourage us to accept our natural departure and enter into the everlasting dimension of our life. There are 5 understanding or stages of detached attachment. We can explain them. First of all, we have to observe our inner self. Become aware of what kind of thoughts we habitually have or think. What things or what things or persons do we identify with. Let us become the student of our inner self and intensify our awareness to know where we are attached and what happens more frequently within us. Let us recognize that attachment comes with an emotional force. Here we have to be balanced within inner self to identify the problems, the difficulties we come across with our attachments. Secondly, distinguish between inner self and actuality. For example, our ego might tell us that not getting a particular work I wanted has ruined my career. Not getting a particular work I wanted has ruined my career. The truth here is that we are disappointed because we did not get something we wanted, but nothing has changed in us except our thoughts about our self-image. The actual situation is the same as it was prior to not getting the job, and we can still advance in our life by doing many other works or jobs. Even though that particular thought is deeply within me, it gives a wrong notion to my self-image, but I have to understand it in reality so that it may pass from my image so that I may live a better life and have a better conviction. Thirdly, we have to accept our uncertainty. Our willingness to embrace the unknown provides security. We have to embrace the unknown part of ourselves to give a kind of security to us. Those who seek security in the exterior world chase it for a lifetime. Still, they may not find it. By letting go of our attachment to the illusions of security, we step into the field of all possibilities. By letting go of our attachment to the illusion of security, we step into the field of all possibilities. This is where we will find true happiness, abundance, and fulfillment. Fourthly, we have to ponder on or meditate on attachment. Meditation is a vehicle to help our mind to purify the thought and action that no longer serve us. Let us spend some time in meditation each day and watch how the patterns of attachment in our life begin to change. We have our own patterns of attachment. The meditation will help us to go deeper into the different levels of emotional attachments we have, and will gradually purify and cure us, and will bring out a lot of change in our life. Then we have to think how to remove the old behavior. The first step is making change is to recognize where and what we want to change. Where and what we want to change. Instead of getting frustrated or disappointed when we fall back into an old habit or thought, rejoice that we are noticing it, to be detached from it. We should be happy of a old thought coming to us, so that we may try to remove them from our mind or from the inner self. In time, this will allow us to transform our behavior. When we begin living a life that starts with happiness from the inner self, rather than attaching our ability to be happy on external conditions, then we have understood detachment. When we begin living a life that starts with happiness from the inner self, rather than attaching our ability to be happy on external conditions, then we have understood detachment. Let us remember, detachment is a practice. Attachment may come, attachment may go, but I am detached forever. Attachments may come, attachments may go, but I am detached forever. I go on forever with the proper detachment. Many things and persons will come in our life. If you are attached with them, we cannot move freely. By passing them, detaching from them, we have to move forward or move towards the goal of our life. If we are attached, we are stuck, we are filthy, we are forced to make use of the beautiful creatures for our selfish emotional attachments. If we are attached, we are stuck, we are filthy, we are forced to make use of the beautiful creatures, beautiful creation for our selfish emotional attachments. Detachment is the release to convert our life, to enter into the orbit of progress or new life. Detachment is the release to convert our life, to enter into the orbit of progress or new life. In detachment, we are moved to attain the fullness of life and help all creatures to attain their goal of survival. In this detachment, happiness is the journey and not the destination. In this process of detachment, happiness is the journey and not the destination. Happiness itself is the way. There is no way to happiness. Happiness itself is the way. There is no way to happiness. So happiness is life. If you are able to understand the true reality of ourselves, the true meaning of detached attachment. In this process of detached attachment, we go on with a healthy life, respecting all persons and realities, at the same time allowing them to feel free and live freely and having all their rights and duties of life. Thus, we have to cultivate this inner quality of detached attachment so that we have a balanced attitude of our daily life and growth to attain the fullness of our life. O Supreme Graceful Light, justice, love and peace be in all beings. Be well, be well, be well. Thank you.